Hi, it's Harry from ActionCOACH Business Coaching, and again, honoured today to introduce another one of our coaches to everybody because Lindie Malan, our coach in Somerset-West, really an esteemed member of our team, and the purpose of these videos is really for you to get to know the person behind the coach. So Lindie, thanks for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to unpack your journey a little bit further.
I'm super excited. Thanks for being here today. It's lovely.
So Lindie, you've got a bit of an entrepreneurial background. I think a lot of coaches come to this business from a more corporate background, but you were more entrepreneurial. So give us a sense of what that journey looked like before you became an action coach.
Yeah, way back after finishing varsity, starting in a corporate, thinking I'm going to become a corporate career lady, lasted exactly 6 years and decided not for me. Unfortunately, my dad started his own business when I was at school, and I think that was the role model, thinking, gosh, somewhere there's a place where I can find myself, where I can determine my own future, and that just resonated with me. So, jumped into business with my dad 11 years. From that, started my first startup business, and after that a second, and my coaching business being a third. So very much been my DNA all along, working for myself and getting on with it.
So you've had guest houses, you've sold businesses, but before we talk about why you became an action coach, in that period that you were trying to sell businesses for people, what did you find was often wrong with a business and why you couldn't sell it?
There's so many things, and I think it just depends on the specific business, but if I had to really think of a couple of key things, one being the owner being the business. Everything circles around the owner, and that the owner is the rainmaker, and then I end up, how do I sell the business with the owner? I mean, I literally can't do that. And I'm sure the business, and that was never their intent anyway, but they've never put thought to the process of withdrawing from their business. And I found that. And then of course, if you don't have a profitable business, there's no real value locked into that. And we can't sell the promise of, yeah, but if you do this and then that, and then there's such huge potential. No, there's not, because you've not been able to materialize that. So I can't sell a promise and potential. So I think it's the profitability and the owner being the business that used to be, I think, a couple of the big stumbling blocks. Absolutely.
I think that's often a common mistake people make is they are the business themselves, they've worked there their whole life, they think they're going to sell it for a lot of money, and there's nothing really successful to sell, and then they're selling the promise, as you say. But then that led you to say, well, there's a better way, and you became an action coach. So what was it around business coaching that really ticked the boxes for you and got you to make that transition?
Harry, if I think back, I remember I always joke and say I probably have been your fastest conversion from looking at Action Coach as something that I could do and then deciding to get on with it. I was in a stage in my life where I was frustrated with this whole story playing out, with business owners literally slaving away and putting their blood, sweat and tears in, and I'm getting frustrated with the fact that I feel I can't help them offload this business, and what's wrong with this picture. And that, together with my own sense of business and the fact that I've always been in business, so surely amongst this mix with the Action Coach business model, I realized that I have got a bigger, far better impact, or I can play a bigger role out there. So it clicked, and I was off, and that the rest is history. So I think, in your words, I was moving away from a frustrating situation towards the promise of helping business owners, but not just those that struggle. It's really impacting and building beautiful, successful, profitable businesses that really change people's lives. And I think that was the big pull for me.
And we're going to definitely touch a little bit more on that, but I remember it wasn't plain sailing for you that first time, because we had breakfast with Lindie's husband Stefan at the Lord Charles for breakfast, and he said, you know, he doesn't think anybody's going to pay you for this nonsense. And if you think you're going to do this, you're going to do it with your own money, not with the family's money. And today he's probably your biggest raving fan and supports you eternally. So it wasn't plain sailing. You still did what you needed to do and believed in it, and the results have shown. But let's go back to that beautiful, profitable, successful business. Tell us through some of the stories, the ones that you're most proud of, the transformations you've seen either in the business itself or in the human that runs the business, because businesses are still run by people.
There's been so many, Harry, and you know, I literally counted the number of clients that I've signed to date, and it's a whopping 168 clients that I've signed into business coaching. Wow. So, I mean, imagine asking me that question. But I remember one of my clients that's still with me today is an electronic engineering company. And when she started coaching with me, she had no sense of what it means to be a business owner, let alone taking the lead and building something with a purpose and meaning, and you know, and getting about doing that with a plan and specific strategy. And I remember when she came for coaching, it was list and list and list of to-do things, and I was going, oh my gosh, you know, we've got to start somewhere, chipping away at what can be a potential vision for a business. And now, almost 5 years later, still in coaching, if I take where she's now and the journey, it's been 4.5, almost 5 years, but she's systemized her business. She has, her profit before tax was well over, was in the millions. A profit and extremely profitable. She's transforming herself and her team into the almost perfect vision of how she sees herself going forth. And it was that complete transformation that it's just so inspiring to see how people all of a sudden understand, but I can be so much more than what I've been, and that's amazing. And the other story is also a client of mine, proud to say that he's still with me, runs a wonderful company. They've got an international footprint. They're in the irrigation industry, and I remember sitting with him looking at coaching and him saying, please stop asking me these very difficult questions, because I now got to admit, like 20 years into business, I don't have these answers. And I go, okay, that's all right. We don't supposed to have all the answers. But now, again with him, systemize the business. We've got a financial system going. He's got the answers to his business on his fingertips, and he's building a fantastic business with a global footprint. And again, that transformation of going towards something that I never thought possible. And that's some of the stories.
Yeah, 168. There's many others, believe you me. And there's a whole range of businesses, and I think because of the products and services that we offer, it is from the smaller businesses to some of those that are hundreds of millions and international presence and things like that too. So you'll see that I called Lindie right early up front a live wire. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy behind it. But if I'm thinking of taking on a coach, or maybe I'm not even thinking it, I'm just in my business and I know there's more. Because as you said, it's not always a struggling business. It's a business that gets to a point and goes, I know there's more, but for whatever reason, I can't go there. I'm too lazy, I don't have the skills, I've got comfortable, whatever. What do you think you bring to the party that really helps them chase that dream again?
If I try to look at myself outside in, I believe it's myself being completely authentic, in the sense that I will run and work and be committed 100% in my effort in coaching you through that journey. So the complete authenticity of, I honestly believe I am completely authentic. And also the fact that there's a lot of relatability. You know, it doesn't matter how big or small the businesses were that I built, it did call for courage, it did call for leadership. And I think, you know, I'm always looking for those business owners out there that's looking to unlock their leadership, their potential to lead, that has the courage to go beyond. And that resonates with me. So I'm always looking for that language, because sadly, we all want many things in life, but I don't think we were all born to be entrepreneurs and really move the bar. I don't believe there's space for everyone, and we don't all get to build those wonderful businesses. You can just be completely content, still have a beautiful business. But I'm thinking the ones that really stand out are the ones that really impacts on the community and their lives. And I think that's what resonates with me. I like that language.
And that's become a bit of your own personal transformation the last while in particular, where besides a beautiful, profitable, sustainable, successful business, there's this heart and this passion to really, you know, impact at grassroots, to bring about transformation. Because I think in South Africa we talk about it, but you know, do we really live it? And that's become a real passion almost for yourself. So talk us through a little bit about that passion.
I think that's also something about me that I never understand. Do I always got to make it so difficult? But for me, growth lies in the unknown. It's in the potential that where I can still develop my best version. And I truly believe that transformation comes with unlocking the potential of individuals and enabling individuals, even employees, even in teams, developing leadership in teams, cultivating empowering cultures where leadership is embodied and culture is something that we're not just, we aren't our values, we live our values. And for me, that's leadership. And I think, you know, I look at poverty and I just think, where did we lose the plot where people feel so disenabled, and there's just seemingly just like ceilings all over the show. And for me, it's about really helping individuals and like you say, impacting on grassroots level. I think we can, but we need to believe that we can. And it starts with self-belief. So I think I'm rambling on, but it has become a big passion of mine to transform environments and businesses in places where people can really discover themselves in terms of their potential. And we live in such a restricted environment, and things are put onto us, and we led to believe we are only able to do this and that. And I don't think so. I think there's lots more to it.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely done that through businesses, through executive teams, through teams, and even employees at grassroots level. And the beauty about I like the way you said it's around the people, because people run businesses, people are involved in businesses. If you empower the people, the change happens. And as humans, fortunately, we're still mostly good. The more we grow, the more abundance there is, the more we share and the more we give, which is exactly what you're trying to achieve. So you also do a lot of personal development. You're really committed to your own learning, your own development, reading courses, things like that. So what are some of the standout kind of maybe books, maybe courses, maybe people out there that you've learned from?
Again, gosh, many. I've made it my mission to listen to a new Audible book almost every second week. And I think some of the titles that I've listened to in the last couple of weeks has all been about transformation. And I think one of the standouts one is definitely Drive by Daniel Pink, that talks about what motivates the new generation employee team, you know, and the whole thing about mastery and autonomy and purpose. And again, that whole notion of creating beautiful environments where people find themselves engaged, and there's a purpose and there's leadership, there's visionary leadership, and I can take my people somewhere. So Daniel, I've read Exponential Organizations by Salim Hassan that talks about digital transformation and all the disruptive things going on out there. So I think, yeah, it's a moving show, but I just don't go into a place of fear. I go into a place of what could that potentially mean? And again, I find myself as a coach in the center of the storm, the perfect storm, and that excites me. Yeah, absolutely.
So another part around the authenticity is despite being a business coach, having these 168 clients over a period of time, you're still a mom, 3 kids, the youngest of which was in matric last year when we had all the lockdown and the shutdown, also head girl, you're a wife, you've moved multiple times home, so you've acquired furniture, put up curtains, lost furniture, downscaled, upscaled, all of it. So that's still happening in the background. And I think, especially as men, we don't understand the impact that it takes for a woman to be an entrepreneur, because you still take the brunt of the household chores and management and things like that. So how do you keep it all together? How does Lindie cope with all these different strains and stresses?
Like you always say, I mean, don't judge by the snapshots, watch the video, because I mean, it's not always that perfect. But yeah, you know, I think it's just about creating one's own rhythm and having the ability to still prioritize what needs to get done. So for me, I tend to not look too far ahead. I tend to look what needs to happen in the next month, 3 months, 6 months, and position around that. For me, it's about, I think, preserving energy. Because if I can look after myself and my well-being, and I can go on my morning runs, and I can, you know, just preserve who I am and preserve my energy, and that keeps me going. But I do believe that time out, time off, to do a typical brain dump, all of that is so needed to create space to be able to sustain with enough energy. So not easy, and I think therein lies a little bit of the authenticity, or be able to relate, because I am all of those. So despite all of that, my heart goes out to the female entrepreneurs out there that's got to keep all the balls in the air, which is certainly not always that easy. Absolutely. I saw a lady entrepreneur yesterday, and she said, God, I can't keep on waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and putting in 17 hours a day. And I said, well, let's change that. Because something's got to give. So let's work on the business that's going to buy you the freedom, and then you can create a little bit of space for yourself, because that's so needed. You know, so not easy. I don't have the recipe. I'm not going to write the book.
Well, you could one day, because, you know, Lindie's also, when your kids were much smaller, run the comrades multiple times, and you can follow her on social media on her Coach on the Run videos, where she's up early in the morning in the dark on the beach, you know, sharing some pearls of wisdom. But there's a lot of business out there that are stuck, that are either struggling or really wanting to go to that next level, or forced to go to that next level sometimes. What's your advice to them? What's your advice to that entrepreneur out there that's sitting going, where to now?
Let me think. Harry, I think I always want to say you can't do it on your own. You know, we get sometimes stuck because it's the same voice, it's the same perspective, it's the same everything. You can't do it on your own, it's not possible. So I believe to get unstuck is to put yourself out there, start having conversations, and open up to what else. Get a coach, get an outside perspective, surround yourself with people that could poke and push you and challenge you in terms of where you've now found yourself. So that, and I think that goes with learning, going outside your little comfort zone and say, what else? Just ask yourself that, what else is potentially possible? But yeah, it's tough out there, but then I'm always the earth optimist. So I believe, like Elon Musk said, yes, we do believe people will die traveling 4,000 kilometers a mile on my Hyperloop. We do know that for a fact, but we are busy working on it. We'll find a way. So we'll find a way. If you know where you want to go, we'll find a way. But you first got to ask that question.
Absolutely. And I think, the find a way is critical, but the reality is you can't do this on your own. And I think entrepreneurs are the only people on the planet that try and do it on their own.
Yeah.
no other organisation or institution, people try and do it on their own, but
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs do. So if you're out there, you're in business, you know there's more, you know where to find a fantastic coach. Lindie's an absolute stalwart in the team, really committed and passionate, as you would have seen. And definitely go find her on Coach on the Run, and thank you for being part of this business and for your contribution, not only to us as an organisation, but to all the entrepreneurs, the 168 that have been clients, but the many thousands that you've touched in your journey so far.
Thank you so much, Harry. And just before we go, again, thanks a lot, because none of any of this in the smallest way is even possible without the team of ActionCOACH and yourself being a fantastic leader, and all the girls and all the staff behind the scene. It's just been such an amazing environment that makes it easy for us coaches to get on with the job. So I had to say that publicly. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Lindie. And look out for more coach videos so that you get to know the people, the fantastic people, because we're really privileged in this position that we are in this business to attract the most amazing human beings into it, whether they be coaches, whether it be teams that work behind the scenes tirelessly to allow us to do what we do, but to the many thousands now of entrepreneurs that we get to work with, good, solid, passionate, hardworking people that we're able to unlock the potential of, and we look forward to doing a lot more of that. Thank you.